sorts of options. Somebody said, what have I missed? And the best thing is, you haven't really missed anything other than Eddie and I greeting everybody, welcoming you all to the chat, and thanking you all for coming and spending some of your Saturday afternoon, morning, evening, depending where in the world you are, with us. But very shortly, we're about to have our first preview of the show. Raph is whispering in my ear, but he whispered too quietly. He might have been saying, it's time. Oh, there you go. He says he's got 1 more minute. So I'll tell you how this is going to work. In about 1 minute, probably more like 50 seconds by now, we will have the first of our previews. Sit tight and watch it. It's going to be awesome. And then Eddie and I will come back.
Yeah, 10 seconds. And counting. What do you want to see first, the dead or the divine?
I don't know.
Because you're actually invested in both. This is a new one for you.
You can subscribe using the normal subscription.
And you're like, crap, you have money to buy these said models.
I know.
If you've got an Amazon account,
if I put that there, then that will catch both our voices much more easily.
People don't hear me.
Yeah, they do.
I'm just here to annoy you.
You're here for the comedy.
Say hi and let us know where in the world you are and join in the conversation.
And if you're watching along on Twitch as well, it's worth saying that all of the things that we show will also be shown on the Warhammer community website shortly afterwards. So if we show you a picture and you're like, man, that was cool, I wish I had all the time in the world to absorb that with full detail, head over to the Warhammer community website to watch all the videos, have a look at all the pictures in glorious detail.
It might be worth me kind of chopping and changing this video so that I have
that's a good shout. No need for dodgy screen grabs.
I don't know. Let's see how this works. This is the first time I've ever tried anything like before. It's scary. I'm scared, puppy. It's terrifying. So many things can go wrong.
Well, you're not working with children or animals, so you'll be fine. Dun dun dun, what do you think it's going to be?
I think... Oh. Wasn't expecting that.
Ooh.
God Emperor, hear our prayer. Watch over us as we prepare for battle. Though we are few and our enemies many, we shall not falter. By your grace, we will shatter the mutant, the heretic, the zealot. By your grace, we will cleanse every dark corner of the stars. Grant us the gift of your wrath. God Emperor, hear our prayer.
Ooh.
You're invested in this.
I am invested in Sisters of Battle for a long time. I've wanted some sisters.
You haven't actually gone out and brought any of the new models yet. I brought you one for Christmas.
Yeah. I've just not had the time nor the money.
I was hoping they'd do the big £100 boxes they normally do for Christmas. I was hoping that this year they'd release one of them because I was going to get you one for Christmas, but they didn't. So maybe because they're releasing new models, maybe this year, they'll release a big box for Christmas that I can get you.
That would be pretty sweet. Sisters in mech suits.
That was pretty rad. I like everything about that teaser trailer, Eddie. But what can you tell us? Come on, spill the beans.
So that was the Adeptus Sororitas Sisters of Battle Paragon Warsuit, which is a thing that we've never seen before. This is absolutely brand new for Warhammer 40,000. I don't think we've even heard hints of it before. So something to allow the Sisters of Battle to compete in the combat phase, to go up against some of the biggest battles.
It's like a mini knight.
A mini knight.
A feminite?
Just looking at it, you can tell
a feminite.
Absolutely.
How do you feel? Because obviously you used to have a Sisters Army.
I had the beginnings of a Sisters Army, yeah.
When they were all metal.
Yeah.
Are you happy that they've introduced this, or are you a bit, that's not really what the Sisters stand for?
No, I'm okay with this. It's interesting, and it kind of follows on from the whole... sorry, gents, if I just mute you for a second. Yeah, it kind of follows on from the whole Penitent engine type thing. It's just a bit more elegant looking than the Penitent engines, and the tech is certainly around for the Imperium, and yeah, I'm okay with it. Looks like we've got some melters, some heavy bolters, and a power sword of some kind.
I want that model just for the sword.
Yeah, the sword is very
I've never
pretty.
really been interested in the Sisters Army. I don't think I have a single good army. Oh, I do. I have Space Wolves.
You have Space Wolves. I was about to say, you have Space Wolves.
Yeah, but don't talk to me about Space Wolves.
You just lean more towards the whole death, and chaotic. No, you don't. Sorry. Eldar. You're just Eldar everywhere. Eldar everywhere.
That's not true.
What Eldar army do you not possess?
What in...
40k.
There's only 3. That's not fair.
4, technically.
I've got Yunari.
Yeah.
I've
Got Craftwell Eldar.
I've got
Dark Eldar.
yeah,
And Harlequins.
yeah.
That's all of them.
But I'm saying it's not like Sigmar where there's loads of different types of elves. So I
Yeah.
think you're being unfair.
Okay,
That's fine.
that's fair enough, I suppose. Yeah. What do you think? Do you like this version of a Sister of Battle more than the?
I would buy and paint that. I don't know if I'd play because I just generally don't get on with 40k. I find it really frustrating.
You're not you don't like how one person takes their entire turn and then the other person takes their entire turn. You quite like going back and forth a bit. Yeah, you like to actually react to stuff. Yeah, no, I can understand that. I think it's certainly. I don't think this suit is going to make Sisters of Battle like uber good in close combat. I think it will mean that they have a better chance now. Because beforehand, if you get into close combat with Sisters, anything with any kind of high toughness is going to munch through them.
Creating some new tech to kind of go up against the horrors of
people
the
saying.
and the model's glorious as well. I think if you look at the opportunities there, you can already start to imagine how you can see it painted in different colour schemes. There's quite a lot of
What
flat
colours
panels
would you
and
paint it?
surfaces on there as well. So if someone wanted to really go to town with heraldry,
Probably
and iconography
carry on
and,
with the
painting
sort of
marble
newish
patterns
So-
on it,
Sister colour scheme
Michael
idea.
has this like
scenes and
thing
stuff
where he
they could
paints
do.
his
And equally,
sisters
if
to
you
look
just
like
wanted
his
to go the other direction
temples.
and make it look like a battle-worn
Yeah, they're allies.
waded
That's
through
what I
colours
figure.
sometimes, you could equally do
They're-
that.
So you're going to
Sis-
paint them like your
it's gonna
Black
be a treat
Templars?
for
Oh, they will be
sister players
similar.
and,
Yes.
They will be
something
similar.
they haven't really got in
But
their
they will
army
be purple.
Yeah, the chat has.
Is it because my hair's
pumping
back?
out a few
Yes.
questions, which I don't know if we can answer, but certainly it will be worth sort of joining in the speculation. Somebody has said they wonder if there's helmet options for them. I suggest the video is a blur in my mind now, but in that video we saw.
I think there were helmets.
It's worth having a look on there and seeing what maybe there were some other options shown. And also, I guess we'll learn more about this kit as we get closer to launch. But I would expect that there is an option for the system.
I do need to paint that model. I have a lot of models I actually need to paint. Tanya is just picking up random models and showing them to me in a kind of a, there's this one, and this one, and this one.
It's because some of them are like limited run models that
There
I
is
brought
a
you.
kind of like ludicrousness
I
to
just need to
Warhammer
sit down and
40,000
paint.
in some
I've
ways,
got,
it's very much form before function, so it's got to look
Jacob Bugman.
impressive and
I've
decadent
got,
and over the top and,
what's his
you
name?
know,
Gamling?
fantastical,
Gamling.
first and
Gambling
foremost
without
in the minds
banner.
of the, both the ecclesiarchy and the priest of
And a
Mars.
bunch of
If it
hammerers
doesn't
that I've
look
not
like it's
sorted out
proper
yet.
technology, they wouldn't make it.
For Christmas,
They
I
have a
did
very
him an
defined
advent calendar
aesthetic,
of
I
loads
suppose,
of
in their minds
Warhammer in.
of what's imperial, what proper
I've just
human
realised
technology
something.
should look like. Is interesting because
This is a
you can
battle,
see hints
on the
about
whole,
other bits of tech that
don't
already
like
exist, so
new
you can
tech.
see nods to things like,
They like things that are
Vengeance engines and dreadnoughts,
old and
Imperial
proven,
Knights,
you know?
but also to
Um,
Adeptus Sororitas power armor. You can see in the legs.
So this
and
is
the
an
shapes of
interesting
the
thing
armor
now,
legs
I
and
realise,
things like that
because this is a
you
brand
can
new
imagine-
tech that
you
Sisters
can
are
see where that's been
using.
extrapolated
But-
from the system.
But it could be just
Would
a,
would
absolutely
other
perfect
armies
on
use this tech?
and I think the other thing it does potentially is open up a really interesting army type. Versus
the
this, where
Imperial
you've got
Guard
penetrance
would, I
already,
suppose.
So it is
and
a
the various different
tried and
incarnations
tested
of
tech,
those.
just
Yeah.
not with the
and then
sisters.
you
Yeah.
can also chuck some of these in. and you
Sisters
can
are
go with
just
a,
very fond of,
you know,
like,
a
sisters have been known
warhead
to
heavy Adeptus Sororitas
sacrifice
army,
ludicrous
where you
numbers
have
of
the
their own
sisters
troops
leading
to
towards
rescue,
the
like, a
fanatics,
rhino
all
that's
strapped
been in
into
service
militant
since
engines,
the Great Crusade.
smashing into the heart of the enemy
You know?
army, melting
It's the
into
kind of thing that they love
really fun,
anything
very
with a good pedigree on
possibly
it.
very powerful force as well. I think
So
it's
they're
really
like
a lot of fun.
designer tech.
I
They
agree.
are
I like
designer
the
tech,
chat is
yes.
split on whether or not the helmet
If
is
there was a
required or whether
Gucci
faces
tank, you would buy it.
and also, apparently, maybe they've
Yes.
done this with some.
Yes, very much so.
I think they might have.
If
shown
it
up
had
in one of our Ring
guns.
Clips previously as well. I don't think anyone guessed it was going to be a
Gucci guns. Actually, that sounds like a very
No,
sensible
not
new
even
brand.
me.
Gucci guns.
I love it.
Sorry for the squeakiness. I'm just trying to sit more comfortably in my chair.
Right. So I am guessing that we are.
I'm chuckling so much because the chat are mostly saying, "Where's her helmet?"
Is that fair to say? So
Your sister doesn't have a helmet.
No, she doesn't.
I should let the chat on a secret. The clock on my computer is completely wrong today by about 9 minutes, so I'm always guessing the time. I have no idea why. All right, so Sisters of Battle.
Why don't you
Paragon
change
Warsuits.
the
Do you
time on
think,
your computer?
Eddie, if I
Yeah, that was my
ask you
first
to
thought.
gauge your crystal ball, this is the sign of maybe more sisters to come.
I think it could
Probably
well,
a
yeah,
Sister
so
Codex coming.
If you cast your mind back,
But
maybe
not
3
a Black
years,
Templar.
No.
someday.
Someday. Probably not, but someday.
But that's
Would
exactly
you be
what
happy
happened,
if the
and
Black
last year we saw
Templars
the
and
entire
Sisters
Sisters
shared a
Battle
codex?
range pretty much
No.
reinvented in plastic. And
They
some
are
of the
very
best
different
kits,
armies. They whilst they have similar
but the
motivations,
vast
they are
majority
very
of the
different
stuff we saw was
armies.
very much reinventions of things that we knew and already existed. Whereas if we look at something like the Paragon Warsuit as the shape of things to come, it effectively throws the doors open for all sorts of weird and wacky stuff. That the Adeptus Sororitas haven't had many new units in about 20 years.
That's true.
There's lots of room for expansion and interesting ways they could go, and I think this year might be another good one for Sisters of Battle players.
Good times. Let them roll, I say. Behind me, I still have my Sisters of Battle army box that came out. So I was playing a little bit coy when you asked me one of the things I was interested in doing this year, because I think this might be the impetus to get off of my backside and actually build and paint those gals.
Guys and girls, there's a penitent actually.
There is, poor fella.
Yeah,
Right.
it sucks to be on a
Ralph
penitent engine.
tells me that is the signal for the next of our reveals. So,
What do you reckon it's going to be? 40k or Sigma?
I reckon 40k. I think Sigmar's going to come last.
Ooh.
Hey,
What do you reckon it's going to be?
more sisters. No, Necrons. Ooh. I like.
Keep your distance.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Approach with caution.
And of course there's another Space Marine. Heavy Intercessor.
I feel that them Necrons, some of them look like they had spare parts from Nighthorn.
Yeah,
Stuck them on.
I could see why you say that. Oh, is this a new Kill Team starter box? Ooh, I think this is a new starter box. Yeah, new starter box.
I can't do Kill Team.
No, I know. Not enough models.
Not enough.
Not enough models.
Like everybody.
Well, and the fact that I
we've
normally play
seen
Space
some
Wolf
of
and
this
play
stuff before.
40k,
I
and
think
if I can't have a
in the,
wolf,
in
then
the
what's the
chat room
point in
already
doing it?
Yeah.
that
That's
we
just my
maybe
point
got
of
a little
view.
bit
Yeah.
So,
of
not
some
having
of
it.
this stuff at the end of last year. But Eddie, what exactly?
I actually thought those. I'm normally a bit of a. Anyone who's seen this channel for long enough knows that knows that I'm a bit of a negative person when it comes to Primaris Space Marines. But some of those models actually looked quite nice. I know.
If people think you're negative about Primaris.
But in all seriousness, like the Necron terrain looks awesome. I like the new flayed ones because it's Necrons who've gone crazy and skin people alive and wear their flesh.
I still think they look like they really look Nighthorn.
They do look a little bit Nighthorn-y, it's true. But the Space Marines look okay. The Chronomancer I find a little strange because when you're around people with the flayed virus, you go crazy yourself. So maybe he's a Chronomancer who's gone crazy. Crazy Chronomancer. Yeah, but it looks alright for a starter box.
I wouldn't buy it.
I know you wouldn't buy it. To be fair, I wouldn't buy it. I
wouldn't buy it because neither of them interest me.
No.
I don't like Primaris.
No.
Not a big fan of Space Marines.
No.
I don't really like Necrons.
No. That's fair.
Hard to please.
No, it's fine. It's understandable. There are armies that you're not into. That's fine. And just Kill Team in general. You just don't like skirmishy games, really. Like I think it has to be one where you can have a certain. What's the minimum number of models you would feel comfortable with? Queen of the Horde.
Hordes.
This is my new title for you, Queen of the Hordes.
I don't really. It's probably I'm just being stubborn because I've never tried Skill Team. Because it's 40k, I really assume that I'm not going to like it.
Sure.
And I think I'd try it with maybe.
Maybe Inari? Okay, yeah.
Because I won't play Space Wolves, because if I can't have a wolf, which is the whole point,
Yeah.
then there's no point in me playing a kill, because I'm just going to get grumpy.
You're going to get grumpy. You're like, where is my wolf?
Yes.
No, I can understand that.
So, but I've sort of fallen out of Space Wolves at the moment anyway. So.
Do you want to tell the world why you've fallen out with Space Wolves? Oh, okay, fine. We will leave it a mysterious mystery. Yeah, I wonder how much this box set's going to be, because a part of me is like, this can't be more than 60 quid.
It probably will be.
I would be like,
if you think the book, they normally charge 25.
Yeah, but the book itself looks like it's a campaign guide as opposed to new rules, so it's not like a big new rule book. It's just this is the new campaign.
Glances off them much less effectively than it would against the regular intercessor.
I reckon it's going to be about 70
quid. As well, very, very good in the game now. They've got
there is lots of terrain pieces, I
suppose. A lot of the new Necron abilities and dynasty traits give them extra boosts and things as well. So I think we'll see plenty of all of those units on both Kill Team battlefields and Warhammer 40,000 battlefields.
Yeah, absolutely. For myself, the thing I think which is most exciting is that I've been itching for these.
I guess 40k is quicker to say.
What feels
40k.
Like a long time ago, I guess,
so why they won't say 40,000?
I don't know.
Because that's really fucking
Language, Timothy.
Sorry about that.
And I think I probably speak for a lot of space.
Did you ever watch that?
I have actually never seen that.
I think they're very generic, aren't they, in terms of like they can fit into any Space Marine army fairly easily. I think
ironically that's my problem with most Primaris Marines. They are very generic.
They are effectively an incarnation of that tactical type. So you can paint that up as any of the.
I will not get into discussing my hatred for Primaris.
Vote in the channel. Would you like an episode specifically about Tania ranting about Primaris Space Marines?
So I think Salamanders and Imperial Fists would fit absolutely right in. If you can imagine these guys holding the line or being your
heresy. Kind of. You've just seen another heresy coming.
I hope another heresy happens.
But it's going to get boring, isn't it? If every Primarch then just causes a heresy, it's going to be the Horus Heresy all over again, multiple times. And it's just going to be a bit shit.
No, what will eventually happen is the Primaris will turn out to be a terrible plan. And then the original Sons will come and save the day.
On the chat, one of them, I don't know if you know the answer, Eddie, is are these
I know that's not going to happen.
Full multi-part kits with options?
You know what they need to be?
What's that?
Who do they need to bring back?
You want them to bring Lehman Russ back?
This is the full heavy
That's the only way to save Space Wolves.
You do realise Lehman Russ will turn up and then more than likely punch Guilliman in the face.
Good, he deserves it.
Along with rants along the lines of, what the hell have you done? Who are these individuals in my chapter?
Mine's gone blank. The other one.
Yeah. Which will probably cause a war.
Yeah.
So you do want a heresy, which is the opposite of what you just said a moment ago.
And as well as that, you've also
It's
got
not really heresy.
So are you saying that
Guilliman, you're a twat, why have you done this?
So are you saying because it's Lehman Russ, it's not heresy? Lehman Russ shoots a child. It's not heresy.
He was doing that.
If it was Chaos Possessed, maybe.
So a lot of flexibility in the kit, even though it's variations on Marine with bolt gun in extra heavy armour. You've got 6 different weapons to choose from that he can have between the standard bolters and the heavy weapon version of it. So
this is why I struggle with Primaris. The genericiness is what bothers me.
I just think it's sad that eventually it's only going to be Primaris. Slowly, normal Space Marine models are disappearing.
Nope. Refuse. I probably would stop.
What happens? But it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it probably will. I've decided that with my Black Templars, I'm just going to keep. I will have a Primaris, maybe Black Templar force, but it will be separate from my Templars. They are a completely separate entity, because I just enjoy the Firstborn Space Marines more. Crusader squads. Crusader squads are where it's at.
I think
So has he got
I
to
played
play
a little
his
bit of Kill Team
Black
Arena
Temple Army
when it
anymore?
came out.
I have not had the time and they're packed away. And you know this.
Lots of kind of narrow corridors.
You
and
don't play
barrels in the
them
way, and,
because
lots of reasons to go forward and attack, and they're
they're
quite.
too broken.
They're really fun, satisfying games of Kill Team because
They're not
they
that
force
broken.
you to
Not anymore.
close with your enemy. Where
Well, the models are
some
broken.
armies, if they have their own way,
didn't
deploy as
booch.
far back as possible.
Yeah.
You didn't put them away.
Yeah, because I didn't put them away properly. And I've got some Land Raiders I actually need to get around to finishing.
I told you I'd help you with that.
I know. I greatly
But
appreciate
also
that,
just-
actually.
It's just nice to see some extra bits of Necrony scenery and stuff as well. So even if you had no interest in using those bits for Kill Team, you just wanted to make a Warhammer 40,000 battlefield, you could start, sprinkling them as objective markers. Or
I probably would
entry
use
to
the
tomb
Necron
complexes,
terrain.
or seeing if you could integrate them with
You
your
just
larger
love
Necron
terrain.
I do love
complexes and
terrain.
models and stuff. Just
Well, when
nice
we
to have more
move
things to play with to make
into our house and we start unpacking,
I totally
I
agree.
will personally do a
So,
video
we
showing you
are
all the
about
Warhammer
1
we
minute
have
from our next preview.
and the terrain that
Slightly
Michael
news
has.
for those of you who've been
Because
waiting
Michael
for,
lent a lot of
the
terrain to a shop that he
heavy
used to go to.
assistant captain,
When that shop shut,
Rabbit
he went to
Captain,
pick it up.
or the
He must have
Comanches
had
and the
about
new Necron Plague one. They are
4 boxes of terrain.
Yeah. There were quite a few pieces of terrain. What can I say? I donated a lot of stuff to that store.
Yeah, and now it's somewhere packed.
Amongst the ether of our
And
boxes.
you've got more terrain. Because I brought you
Ooh.
stuff,
It's true.
magazine stuff.
Titanicus.
It's big.
It's brutal. It's brand new.
What is that?
Wait. Oh wow, that's quite big for Titanicus.
War Master Titan.
Heavy Battle Titan.
So a brand new Titan. Adam, what
We
did you
don't
just
really
see?
need any more
So,
doorstops.
I think, if you are familiar with some of the deep lore,
Are they just trying to make the biggest models out there?
No. This is for Titanicus is like a miniature version of
I was gonna say.
Warlord Titan. So that thing is probably about as big as a standard Imperial Knight in a 40k game.
Bigger or smaller than a Nagash?
About the same size.
Okay.
That was the most important thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I can gather just the size then.
Yeah.
I don't have Knight.
That's true. That's fair. Sorry. So yeah.
Knights are about way big.
So in Imperial Knights in 40k are about that tall.
So it is like a doorstop.
Yes.
So I was right.
Yes. Sorry, I literally realised that as soon as I spoke.
I wasn't wrong.
No, you weren't wrong. The reason I was... Okay, let me explain. The reason I was getting muddled was because in Titanicus, the game, an Imperial Knight is like this big. Then they have a Warhound, which is about that big. And then you have this thing, which is about that big. Yeah, I know.
So this was like a little mini game.
This is a mini game where you basically play with massive walking machines which shoot one another. Because everyone loves giant robots.
Did you find Tetris?
I haven't looked yet. I'm fairly confident I know where he is. I just haven't actually looked. Yeah, Tania, I'm guessing, is going to attempt to build Teclis. Yeah. That's exactly what I need. More magic being hurled in my general direction.
Oh.
Oh,
This magic.
you know.
Don't sing.
Yeah, but... No, stop. No one wants to hear that.
No, they don't.
That's too unpleasant for all ears.
those missile launchers in their own right.
How many
Revelating
previews do you think they're
missile
going to do?
launchers, which are
And make this
staggeringly
free?
powerful.
This is now 3, yeah.
And it's going to be like an hour long.
I'm going to say there's going to be about
It looks
6.
like some hefty
Dun,
missiles on its back. as
I
well,
know, right?
if I'm not seeing that incorrectly.
Free
Yes, yeah,
40k,
absolutely.
free Sigma.
And some
I'm
mystery one.
Struggling for the name of it all because there's so many.
Because they showed a... they showed a picture way earlier about showing the different gaming systems that GW run. 40k. You're pulling my leg. Fall for this every time. So they showed every single game system that they currently do, and they've revealed there is a new mystery one they may be about to do.
Ooh.
So it could be anything from Warhammer Fantasy.
I reckon it'll be fantasy. They keep hinting about bringing fantasy back, don't they? I do owe you some.
Yeah, there was a bit of a bet going on.
Bet?
Not a bet. It was a promise. It was a promise.
That I would buy you some
Bretonians.
Yeah. I did offer you. I offered him the money the other day.
I thought you were crazy.
I told you to find it, and I will buy it. You're holding out to see if they release new plastic.
I am holding out to see if they release new Bretonians.
That's what you're holding out.
I am. See, there you go. There's the different scale. Oh, actually, it's way smaller if that's 1-to-1 scale.
That's not that big.
No. That must have been some pretty amazing camera angles. Techniques I need to learn.
This image you can see here really helps to give some perspective to the sliding.
Depending on the angle, you can make anything look bigger.
That's what she said.
How familiar they'll look in relation to each other. I'm a massive fan of the Warhammer Titan. I super like the way that it
Not
fits
have my
between
coffee.
the
No.
and the Warlord.
We will need to collect some more coffee for ourselves.
Applicability and the massive gun it's got. The War Master definitely does that for
Sorry.
the Warlord.
I get bored and then I do run things.
It's always quite amusing.
Delve back in time, there was always...
But it's funny really, because the only Titan I've ever really wanted, like an actual proper big Titan, was a Warhound. And that's purely because it looks a bit like a dog. I mean, it is a Warhound Titan, and I just want to pet its head. It's got these big snarly teeth, and
Yes, because people walk up to dogs with snarly teeth and go, "Oh, you're a good boy."
Well, I do. As soon as I walk up to them and start petting them, they tend to relax.
Oh. Everyone wanted this game?
Not really. It's just not been one that has really grabbed my attention, if I'm honest. Mostly because big, flat surfaces to paint tend to frustrate me. Tania is currently headbutting my shoulder.
See another book which is similar, but
that makes 4 times now.
Who knows? Who could but this has got loads of new rules in it, including stuff about the new big Titans as well.
Do you like big robots?
I wouldn't play it.
Evolved
No.
as well, because obviously we saw it launch
Heresy.
3 years ago now. And initially you had a couple of Titans to choose from.
Before you met me, heresy was a word that you've never really heard, I imagine. Everything's heresy.
Assuming.
I am assuming. For 40k, as soon as you start getting into GW, suddenly everything's heresy. You just come out of the GW store and you're like, heresy! You don't know why, it just suddenly rolls off the tongue.
Like when you say, let's name our dog Horace. Can't.
And I said, heresy. Indeed. Yes, we may be trying to get ourselves a dog once we actually move into our new home. There is no try. We know. We even know where the dogs come. We know where the dogs come from. Yes, secrets and stuff. There will be a reveal.
What, are you going to reveal our house?
Oh, reveal our house, our dog.
God, when we have a baby, are you going to reveal it on your channel?
Yes.
Oh.
It'll be one of the proudest moments of the channel.
So I imagine Adam.
I might not tell you. Might just pop a baby out
and just be like, see if I notice.
Surprise!
Just see if I'm like, what's that new sound? What is that strange crying in the distance?
Tania, you've got rather fat.
But yeah, they will be.
What I did. Are you pregnant? No, I'm just fat. I eat a lot of chocolate.
Stop it, Michael. Right, so we've had now how many 40k-ish releases? That's 4 now, right?
3. 4.
4. But sisters,
list.
We had sisters, we had Kill Team, we've had Titans. So, are we going to have some Age of Sigmar?
I think it's great.
Bet do, because otherwise I'll be sending Games Workshop a seething email.
A seething email.
Yeah.
Seething. Positively seething with seethingness.
Where's my vampire?
It's okay. Like glancing over at the chat room, it is mostly gimme vampires, gimme, gimme.
I
think
want
just an enormously cool kit as well. Like even if you've got no interest in playing the games and you just want to paint a big, massive, impressive thing.
What's going on with this camera?
I think that's the sunlight just shining in.
Yeah, it looks like he's got like a filter.
Mm.
Okay.
So if you just want to paint,
How do I do background stuff like that? Where they've got, where they've got these little videos with the background of preview Dead and the Divine. How do I do that?
You absolutely can with something like this. It's going to be an incredibly impressive
Picture up for the preview,
almost regardless of how
and then you
paint
put
it.
your
If you wanted to go
screens.
to town, you could absolutely do it.
See, this is how new I am to this whole shtick. I am still learning.
Raph says that it is about time
Uh-huh.
for the next preview. I'm going to close my curtains while it's going on because the sun has come out with a vengeance in spite of the snow. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy this and we'll be right back.
Yeah.
And Tanya goes wild. Hello?
Oh.
Are these the kangaroos? No, these are not kangaroos. Ow, stop. Ooh, I don't know what these are, but I'm really liking the look.
What are they?
Oh. Ow, stop. So, yeah, Tanya's face right now is just all kinds of gimme.
Hello, welcome back. I'm still Adam Trope. This is still Eddie Eccles, and we're still doing the Warhammer preview online, The Dead and the Divine. That was a pretty cool video, and we got to see some stuff which is a bit new and exciting for the Luminaire. Eddie, what can you tell us?
So we knew that there was probably some new Lumineth on their way. We saw
It's like a fox
a little bit about them this week
goat
with
thing.
the announcement of
Goat.
Broken Realms.
Well, it's got-
which is the sequel to Broken
I don't know,
Realms North
antelope?
Sea.
Those
so
horns.
Teclis is up to stuff in the Mortal Realms. He's trying to counter the creeping influence of Nagash, which has very much been the main story arc of
Ironic
Warhammer
that
Age of
I've
Sigmar
got
for the last few years.
Lumineth
And
Yeah.
the Lumineth, their power stems from these elemental spirits of Aish, which we've seen already in the form of the Stoneheart King and the various other Avalor style things. But that's
Also
only
known
one
as
element,
Mountain
one
Cow.
aspect of the Lumineth and how they work. The other aspect of the Lumineth, one of the other things that they have, is the element of the Hurricane, which is the element of the wind, speed, and ferocity. And this is very much
Do you like it?
encapsulated by this new spirit of Aish. This is Lord of the Seventh Wind, a brand new
Not the
type
first,
of
the
Lumineth
seventh.
spirit in the same style as
He's the Lord of the Seventh Wind.
the Stoneheart King.
Not the fifth.
No, not the fifth, or the third.
What about the eighth?
There is no eighth
Their
wind.
warriors are inspired by this aspect of the realm of Aish, the speed of the wind and the shock of the hurricane. So a very cool addition, and this miniature, this model that you're looking at right now, is that spirit incarnate. This is in the same way that we've seen those large striding mountain creatures already for the Lumineth.
It's almost
This
Japanese,
is the
isn't
other
it?
element of it. And as
Oh,
you can see,
video went funny
it's
there.
an archer spirit. You can tell already it's going to be fast. It's likely to be deadly, and you can see nods to some of the Lumineth units that we saw over the last week or so in terms of the aesthetic.
The arrows are on
style.
fire, Bubby. The
Very,
arrows are
very
on
different
fire.
for anything we've seen. It's not a traditional elven god, I suppose you could say.
Yeah, and there's so much cool stuff to look at when you sort of look at those pictures that Raph had up just a moment ago, and I was about to talk about, and there we go, thanks, Raph. First we could just look at the sort of anatomy of the creature and the makeup, and it's sort of like part fox, part, I don't know, antelope creature. I love the fact that it's...
You said it first.
Yeah, I did. I said it
somehow
first.
familiar. But then it's the weapon, this enormously powerful bow with arrows that look like they sort of burn with eldritch fire. And then you look at the quiver on the back and how one of the arrows is missing. There's lovely little touches like that.
I know how
drawn his first
Hmm.
eldritch bolt to fire at the enemy.
It is pretty cool.
There's a real sense of sort of weightlessness and motion to this
It's going to be a bugger to build.
Oh god, I'm terrified at the idea of that thing trying to stay in one piece, or being put in a box. Can you imagine trying to put that thing in a box?
We saw some hints of that in the video as well, so if you want to
I've got
watch
Nagash
that
in a
video,
Yeah, but without it breaking.
Yeah.
Website, but,
I
this
put
person is not alone.
Nagash in my loft box.
It's true. Only the best for Nagash.
He's got little foam packaging protecting him. I'm sure I could find another one.
The god who likes to be nice and clean.
There's no bath bombs in it anymore. I use them all.
There's elements about it that are recognisable.
You do realise if you buy that, I'm going to call it Skippy.
But one of the nice things about
Its name's
Sigmar is that
Foxy.
it isn't populated by creatures that we know and understand. They are weird, wonderful, fantastical beings and creatures.
I literally can't help it.
Demigods that don't really have to follow the rules of physics or of our reality. They can be weird, unusual, strange creatures that are entirely their own.
It's kind of a thing I'm noticing more and more with Age of Sigmar. Like, fantasy, Warhammer Fantasy is like the classic fantasy stuff, you know? With a bit of dark, twisty bits thrown in. Whereas Age of Sigmar is like, and throw the paint to the wall and see what happens.
Have this.
Yeah, it's almost the spaghetti method. I want to see a Tyrion model.
That would be good.
Yeah, what's Tyrion doing right now? Oh, there you go. Teclis is still doing stuff.
We effectively saw Marathi's played for power, where she tried
Another
to
book you now want.
ascend to godhood and tried to kind of carve out a mini empire almost within the mortal realms.
I've read
very
that
much
book.
that kind of duplicitous backstabbing, which you would have thought Sigmar is
I flicked through it.
She's flicked through it.
The Dark Elves and all, but apparently
Need to find out what's going on because she's also getting them the.
I'm a bit annoyed at Marathi and
Yeah.
which sometimes means that he's maybe blind
Releasing.
to some of the shorter term
Swear.
issues, but his
Killing
main
all
concern
the
at this
Lumen.
point is Nagash and the Soul Wars, and he sees in Nagash an enemy that
All
could
these crazy
potentially
people
upset the
trying to be
balance of the
gods.
entire realms. So
Imagine
he
Deep
is
him
Yeah.
joining
on a
in.
collision course with the god of death, basically. So the god of light and magic is on a course with the god of death and magics, and all of the various, basically two realms at war is what you fundamentally got here. So it's going to be a really exciting thing for the narrative, and it's one of the first times we've really seen the Luminet kind of take to the battlefield, because we saw the range launch last year, and we saw the miniatures. We were like, well, that's nice. I wonder what they do. And they haven't really had a major part in the story of the Mortal Realms yet. This is their play. This is that point where you go, the Luminet are here, and they've pretty much had enough of Nagash and what
I
he's
don't
up to.
really blame them.
And this is
I
their
do.
attempt to.
You're rooting for both teams. This must be really confusing for you.
I just feel that people they've just been mean to Nagash.
Nagash did nothing wrong. Hashtag.
Hashtag what do you expect? Hashtag don't steal souls.
So what you're saying is it's everyone else's fault.
No, it's Sigmar's fault.
Okay.
This is what I'm saying.
Okay.
If Sigmar didn't steal souls, then the Nagash wouldn't have got angry. And if the Skaven weren't idiots,
Then his plan would have been fine.
Yeah.
Everyone would have died, and then everyone would be under Nagash's rule.
Yeah.
And everything would be fine.
Yeah.
Too thrilled about the power of death rising, so we might
My
get
partner is terrifying sometimes.
Well, if everyone's dead, no one's hurting, right?
Altharion was really within my top 2 or 3 favourite characters in the world. It was. When I got to write a Warhammer Armies high
But
I super
who do you think will win?
to help
I know none of them
retell the
technically
story
can win, because then
Ark and the Black
one wins. They kind of destroy the other. But which one do you think is going to come out better?
He's probably
Probably
one of the most reviled
Luminar.
characters, but he's probably not even in the top 3 Mortars.
Do you think Nagash is going to follow the same
situation
situation of he does a thing, it goes wrong?
Do you know who he reminds me of? Your friend George, who always rolls ones.
Captain Ones.
Sorry, George.
Oh, poor man. Like, whenever it comes to morale tests, his army never, ever, ever, ever runs away.
I was really impressed in the other day, rolling 20s.
He only rolled
and-
1-1.
I know, but it was when we needed him to not roll a 1.
Yeah, it really was.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yes, so
How could I forget?
how could you forget? How could you forget?
feel like I missed
in the
something.
first Broken Realms, we saw Marathi rise to
You
power
have a new army book coming.
I only just got the
and it
other
has huge
one.
ramifications for the Mortal Realms, but not least for the
Hang on.
Daughters of Cain
What? That lady with the snaky tail, she's got a big barbed stinger on the back.
Of Cain and now and Marathi, of course. And they'll be getting a brand
Your
new
snake
battle
ladies
tone
don't have
very
big
soon,
barbed
which
stingers,
will
do they?
roll in all of
I
those,
don't know, I haven't looked at them in about a year.
changes that she's wrought on
It's
her
depressing.
force.
Okay, go.
So this is exciting if you've got a Daughters of Cain army. They're one of the most popular factions in Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and as well as
right now.
yeah, as well as the battle tone, they also get
Oh.
Ooh.
spells, and I think they're all cool. Obviously, all the endless spells are cool. But the one that
Yeah,
catches
Tanya's
my
now
eye, is
excitedly
massive
staring at the
snake
screen.
made out of
Well,
wood.
I'm on the uncomfortable stool.
I really like everything about.
Yeah,
this.
we're a bit
So
cramped in
you've got
our
the kind of
space, I'm
blades
afraid,
that
so we're...
are very thematic, and you've got the Hand of Cain, the bloody Hand of Cain, which has been a symbol of the Dark Elves and even the Eldar for decades. But the
That
big
is
massive
so
snake made out of blood just looks like
It is very pretty.
got
I have a
potential
thing for
all sorts
spells.
of
Yeah,
cool
you
stuff.
never use... Well, you
It's
rarely
also
use
a
them.
wonderful miniature, but
And let's be
they're
honest,
like
most
an
endless
older
spells don't tend to
version,
do that much.
being used for all sorts of crazy
They're quite
things.
situational.
Yeah, you can just
But
looking at the-
that snake-
just the sorts of things
that
they
snake's
do at the
very
top of
pretty.
the
You could
Blood
use it in
Red
D&D
Fighter,
game.
which is,
Absolutely.
snake creature. That's either going to bite you or constrict you to death. The blades, well, they're probably quite literal in the fact that
I was about to say, those blades are probably fairly straightforward. Throw them at people and they start cutting people up.
That unites the Daughters of Cain is their sort of insane battle lust once the fighting starts, and that's sort of a locus for them. Really nicely thought out sort of. Endless
Those are
spells
very
for
pretty endless spells.
Daughters of Cain faction that look really nice to boot.
So, more Daughters of Cain for you.
I'm on the fence.
Oh.
Since Marathi is favouring her snake people,
Mm.
they're not my favourite part of.
You prefer the Witch Elves?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'd probably buy the End Spells to
Mm.
go with my really tiny army.
Would you buy the new book just because
I'd have to buy.
you would technically have to... Ooh.
Well, they're chucking out these thingy ones quickly.
Ooh, Diachasm. We have that box already. Oh. Vampires.
Blood and glory.
Oh, I'm loving those vampire models.
They are pretty good.
They are looking really nice. Ha 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 ha.
Where's the other one with the red hair?
I'm guessing that one's for normal Age of Sigmar games.
Oh.
Definitely wanting some vampires now.
So, people have been asking for seeing some new vampires in the Mortal Realms for a while, and it looks like they may enter the fray via the medium of Warhammer Underworld's Diachasm. Eddie, tell us about what we just saw.
So this is a new warband for Warhammer Underworlds. This is the Crimson Court, and as you can tell, without looking too hard, these are vampires. So these are soul-blight. This is an incredibly cool-looking warband for Warhammer Underworlds, and also the kind of herald of some cool stuff for Warhammer Age of Sigmar generally. And as with a lot of the Warhammer Underworld's miniatures, they're just beautiful. Like, they're absolutely great archetypes of their faction and of their range.
And a lot of people are like, I'm having them.
Yeah, a lot of people are going, vampires!
Classic vampire.
I think people have been, since Age of Sigmar started, people have been missing a vampire faction, haven't they?
I would say so. Like,
You can buy vampire models, but they're a bit naff.
It's true. Well, and hang on, Vlad and Isabella, their models are cool.
You don't like Isabella.
I don't like her because of her strange love of wearing pink knickers.
They're only
in the
pink
middle
if
of
you
battle.
paint them pink.
Well, okay, that's how GW... My point is, I tend to collect armies that are almost all morally neutral to good.
Vampires aren't morally
I know, but
neutral to good.
my point I'm trying to say is, vampires to me are the exception. I would have a vampire
Orcs.
army. Orcs are just in it for the fun.
But they're not morally...
They're not evil.
They're not good.
They're not evil. They're just wanting to run around and have a good time.
What about your Emperor's...
Emperor's Children?
Yeah.
they want to run around and have a good time. It's just that they like to turn people into various forms of narcotics in the process. There's always an exception to the rule. There's always an exception. Vampires. I wonder if they will have vampire accents, or will we have Australian-sounding vampires? Good day, mate.
No.
Bite your throat.
Because they're wonderful hooks into a new army. If you don't want to,
But that model itself would make a really cool general.
Army for Age of Sigmar.
Just
you can dabble
that
in
pose.
The armour's
this one,
really
more than any
good.
other save feels like each of the
Details.
models within it
Imagine it in D&D. Like, these would make amazing D&D models as well.
This is how you try and sell models to me.
It's
They
true.
have multi-purposes.
They have multiple purposes, Tanya.
Each of
Yes.
them a centerpiece in their own right. Here we have Veles von Fame. So she's a duelist and a warrior within the warband. And just murderous, like alive and...
Also wearing relatively sensible armour.
Fantastic looking dueling sabers.
She's a
There's a
warrior.
lovely kind
She's
of
a warrior.
arrogance about the poses of the miniatures as well. Like they don't look like they are giving their opponents, any kind of assumption that they're going to win. There's a kind of dripping.
I mean, vampires have to look like they're always going to win. Like, vampires just automatically seem to be under the assumption that they're going to win.
Definitely a hint of Lamia about her, doesn't she? But also there's a nice little kind of riff with the sabers. There's a little bit of kind of swashbuckle mixed in amongst it as well. So it's a lot of fun. It's a very fun miniature. And I think you're quite right. Any of these you could put on the battlefield and go, that's a hero, and looks great. They're all incredibly cool miniatures, but you can get them all in a single
Depends. Like, if they're going to start a vampire army,
Yeah. See, I would want two of him, like one on either side of a general, for example. Or, if I painted it grey, it would make a great statue.
Fleetmaster for a...
It would. Do you not think?
Yeah. I can see that.
So this guy, this is my absolute favourite, not even close within the set. This is Gorath the Enforcer. So Prince Duval is the leader. Gorath is the,
Do you want to swap chairs?
the strong right hand
Swap
to
chairs.
make sure that his will is done. Just
Because
a
it's very
slab,
uncomfortable. Unfortunately, we're in a very small space.
Grim face, powerful frame, this enormous mate, bigger than he is.
I've got my chair back.
You realise that everyone's going to hear your voice more clearly now.
Bad guy.
I can speak
Sort
quiet.
of theme
No,
that's really
no, you
working.
can't.
He's the muscle behind the sort of cool and evil leader. And yeah, so I guess if
Or I'll start
we were
eating
gonna
popcorn,
make
and then everyone has to
I
listen
guess
to
this
me eat
would be the
popcorn.
one that we
Oh no,
might
that'll
consider
come
a
across
little
terribly
bit
on the
more
sound.
but it's not an obvious.
That would be bad
I don't
news
think it
bears.
is a necessarily just like this is the Buncasting one, this is the Blood Dragon one. But
No,
they've
absolutely.
got like hints and nods to those kind of classic ranges. And what I really like about this guy is the size of that mace kind of is hinting at the kind of the strength that this guy has.
You
There's a
might
lot
make
of
a nice
stuff in the
walk
poses
with
where you
us.
look at them and you're like, well,
You think
that
so?
mace would
And that's what
take
that
like
person
two
said.
people to swing, right? But he's got human
Maybe.
strength flowing through his veins. He can swing it. In the
Yeah,
same-
maybe.
as easily as
I
he can
could
swing
believe
the sword.
that could make a nice orc war boss.
And the armor on him, as you say, is kind of reminiscent of. It's quite similar to Manfred's armor. If you look at the armor
Is
on
that
the current
Manfred
Mortar.
Jr.?
No.
Ties in quite nicely.
I'm almost certain that's not Manfred Jr. Not even Manfred Jr. Jr.
Junior?
he's
How do you know?
I don't actually know how Soulblight reproduce beyond the, biting people type thing.
I mean, they're all savage-looking guys.
Do you like this one?
Who obviously within the game of Warhammer Underworld is going to give the faction some serious speed.
You know what?
And he
That would make a really cool
presents an
conversion
interesting
for a
element
fleshy to
to
court
Soulblight, which is
courtier.
that, you've got
Just
this
get a big
spectrum
crazy-
Do you have a thing
of
about,
ones that kind of
I do
feed
like fleshy
regularly
to courts.
I was going to say
sort of
converting.
aristocratic
I
lifestyle,
love converting.
all the way
It's
through
one of
to
my
the ones that
favourite
kind of starve
parts of the
blood
hobby,
and have
honestly.
the kind of innate kind of hunger that drives them. And the more starved of blood they are, the more insane they go. But also that's reflected in their anatomy, so they start to kind of sprout wings and kind of
What?
muscles grow and their faces become more
It's very dangerous when
bestial,
Tanya gets
and they
bored. Crazy stuff
claws,
starts
and they
happening.
turn into things like the Vargulfs and the Vargeists.
What?
She is now attempting to
Those are
paint one of my
Soulblights
models
that
with
have basically
just water.
fallen off the edge of hunger into madness. And there's some interesting mechanics in the Warhammer Underworld's game that represent that. So this is, as you'd imagine, your whole army is made of Soulblights, which are very powerful, but they come with some downsides. And one of the downsides is if you don't start eating people real fast, you start to get penalised for it.
Oh, that could be
as
an
well as
interesting mechanic in the
spire
game.
mechanic based on,
You start off really, really strong,
kill
but
people
if you
drain
don't
their
kill
blood.
stuff,
You've
you
also
get
got,
weaker and weaker as you go.
a hunger mechanic, which is if you don't start feeding quick, you start to lose control of some of your warband. They start to kind of do their own thing. Some of their abilities don't quite work in the same way. So it is a very aggressive warband, one that not only rewards you for being aggressive, but penalises you if you aren't aggressive, but comes with the advantage of having a very powerful suite of fighters. As you'd imagine, every one of them is an immortal killer of centuries old. So it's a very interesting.
Will
warband
you
to
want this
play.
warband?
Wonderful warband.
Well, you're going to have it, so I don't need to buy
A
it.
great hint of things to come.
Yeah,
I
but
guess, for
I'll also
moderators.
probably end up converting them for other
Absolutely.
things. So.
Yeah, I'll buy it.
Yeah, I may have to
maybe
buy.
I say this,
You may
this is
need
half
two
the
of them.
time that a new warband comes out.
No, but I'll buy mine.
Yeah.
This is my favourite.
Have yours.
It's-
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I said two.
I think so, and I feel that recently we've had one or two which have particularly struck a chord with me. I think the Seraphon one was particularly outstanding. But here we are with these just utterly outstanding Soul-like vampires. For me, Gorath all the way. I can't wait.
Is a vampire
now,
army
I
next
guess
on your
it's
list?
I don't. I think it would depend on the mechanics, how many models over these, because it's going to get a bit samey.
Yeah.
And then we've seen this.
Because assuming that their soldiers are just, zombies and skeletons and stuff, you'll find that you're not really into rotting corpses or skeletons. Ooh. Boy, just take my Tania's happy.
Vampires?
Evil lies at the heart of Ulfenkarn.
Oh.
This once great city is now a charnel house. Its people are enslaved, brutalized, and harvested. Their broken bodies raised up to serve the city's cruel master in death.
Vampires.
We will
I
not
called it.
allow this desecration to continue.
Ooh.
Know this, Wolf. You are not the first monster we have hunted.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm guessing this is the new game?
I ain't gonna lie, I am super excited about this one. Things are definitely getting spooky. What are we looking at, Eddie?
So, as the video says, Adam, this is a brand new Warhammer Quest Cursed City. And as you hinted at, it is indeed a very spooky version of Warhammer Quest. This is set in a city within the mortal realms that is ruled by beings of the realm of death. And there is plenty of hints in there about what we might see. So we saw some kind of shambling, monster-looking things. We saw some bestial, soul blighty looking things. We have this character called the Wolf, who appears to be the evil at the heart of the city. And then we also saw a little glimpse of some of the heroes that have decided to.
Ooh, I like this Witch Hunter.
One of the miniatures, and he's absolutely awesome.
I like this Witch Hunter.
I should tell you more about this.
Gotta love a character with a massive hat.
See that for yourselves, people of the chat. So this fellow here goes by the name of Jelson Darroch. Eddie, what would you like to say more about him?
I think just take
two-handed sword,
soak it in.
hammer,
It's an
big
absolutely
gun,
brilliant
and
it's
stakes.
Very unlike anything we've
Perfect
seen
vampire
in
hunter.
Warhammer Age of Sigmar. One of the great things about the
Why the
Mortal
side
Realms
face?
is this kind of spectrum
Don't come back on
of scale and scope. So you've got
You
everything
don't
from
find the vampires doing all the horrible
celestial
things to
glory
the
of
people?
golden
They can't help
Stormcast,
it.
all the way
They
down
can't
to
help
kind of
it. They
battles
have
of
no
the gutter.
choice.
And this guy is definitely on that end of the
Biggest
spectrum, but
puppy dog
very
eyes
much
being
kitted
given
out
in my
for battle
direction
like he
to
means business. You can see
monstrous
he's got,
creatures.
his gun is both a rifle and a stake firer. So you can see it's got like an underslung stake launcher.
Yeah. That was one of the first things that the chat emerged with. Underslung
got a hammer.
stake launcher.
Pretty cool. And there's a big stakes as well. Like
Oh yeah, he's got quite a few stakes. He's also got, I've just noticed, several other swords.
With this thing. He's got his big hammer there, just in case he needs to kind of drive one into someone's chest up close and personal. He's also got like an absolutely enormous sword on his back, which isn't even one of his top 3 weapons apparently that he's decided to wield. But it's huge sword that he can kind of decide to swing. It's probably enchanted in silver and all sorts of good stuff. The miniature itself is very reminiscent of your kind of classic Warhammer Witch Hunter.
So is this just going to be like a separate game?
So this is going to be
familiar with the sort of look from,
You could almost describe this as like D&D for Warhammer.
in the Mortal Realm as part of the agency.
You pick a character, but it's a skirmishy game. Although D&D is a skirmishy game, but you like D&D, so make up your mind, woman. Which one? What do you like them or not?
I never said that I didn't like them. I just said I didn't like Kill Team.
Okay. Well, is this something you may wish to try?
Yes.
Because we thought about getting the what was it called? The 40k one. There's a 40k variant of this where there was like an Eldar Ranger that you were tempted by. No, not ringing any bells. Okay, I can't remember what the name of the game is.
The chat has gone wild with people wanting to use him for Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor models, or maybe they want to go back and play some like super old school Mordheim or whatever. He just fulfills so many cool.
It's true. He would make a pretty awesome Mordheim model.
Warhammer world that I think is going to be very popular.
Yeah, and he's just one of the heroes that we've got in this new edition of Warhammer
I
Quest.
swear I saw a Skaven model.
Warhammer Quest has been going for...
Someone on the chat was like, Skaven, yes.
Yeah.
Blackstone Fortress, and if you kind of
That was it, Blackstone Fortress. Do you remember that?
Array of different heroes and
Yes.
characters,
Yes,
because
we were tempted to play that a
the
lot.
lore and universe we haven't really got a chance to dive into
Yes.
before.
Yes.
We also saw all
Yes.
kinds of weird and wonderful monsters. So Warhammer Quest gives that opportunity
Ooh. Well, that's one of the
explore
monsters.
bits of the realms that maybe are untapped or untouched, or as a kind of first glimpse. And this guy is another really great example of that. So out of nowhere, this kind of shambling champion of horror comes.
Yeah. So what you're seeing on your screen now, ladies and gentlemen, is Gorslav the Gravekeeper. So he's one of the leaders of the evil power within the curse.
They try really hard not to give anything away, don't they?
They do, don't they?
And he is not nice. He's just look at him. Everything about
Sorry,
him
there's
screams
like a
otherworldly
chill on
wrongness.
my neck.
Yeah, there's a
And
curtain
this
that
is the
Tanya's
sort
trying to
of
close.
Utterly mad evil that you can expect the adventurers within Warhammer Quest City to be going up against. This is a really dark and evil place full of sort of horrible.
It's just a
magic
Friday
powers.
evening in Mordheim.
And Darrock and his companions are going to be going up
Pretty
against
much.
just awful evil. I mean, look at it.
We need to see some more of Darrock's companions. Because I only caught a Skaven and a Witch Hunter. I couldn't make out what the others were. There was a big hulking looking
So
thing.
this guy is like the champion.
I'm guessing
of
an
the game,
ogre?
isn't he? You can imagine him fitting
It's
into
just going to be a
the-
random ass
the way
army.
that
Bits
the
of
Death
everyone.
Army,
Well, it's not really an army. It's more of a
forces
everyone
work in
picks
this
one
city where,
character
this is the guy
and then
who
you
watches
all
the
play together.
graves, who digs up the followers of the dead when
Much
they
like
need
D&D.
to rise, who kind of buries the living when they fall. A pretty horrifying champion. Really.
I'm an elf.
You're-
Quite unlike anything
There was a
you've
wood
seen
elf in the front with a
in
bow.
either the old
I'm an
North
elf.
or in the Age of Sigmar before. It's a
I'm fairly sure that was an elf.
thing
This is
really
what Michael
where,
gets every time he goes,
Oh.
let's play D&D.
I know.
What do you want to be? An elf?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what class do you want to be?
Wood elf?
There we go. What weapon do you
It's
want?
got full horror, hasn't it?
He has two.
Wood elf?
And
Yeah.
he's got like spears with skulls mounted. And they defense railings. What they call the spiky defense.
Yep. Elves, 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 elves.
I'm a bard this time.
It's true, you're a bard this time.
Wood elf bard.
Wood elf bard. Preference wood elf bard.
I remember when.
And I picked the best
I was convinced it was the single best sort of game in a box
Triangle,
I've ever seen in my
bongos,
life.
flute.
And everything I've seen of
Amazing.
Curse City suggests
Spoilers.
that
Let's be fair, it's called the
glorious.
Triangle of
On
Destruction.
Darrock,
Spoilers.
Yeah.
for anybody, hopefully we'll share it in the coming weeks.
Whoop, whoop,
He's not even
whoop,
my
whoop.
favourite
Spoiler alert.
character in the box.
Bit too late, I
think
gave the spoiler, I
good
suppose, so.
adventurers
Oh
are
well.
unbelievably awesome. And the bad guys that they're there to go up against are really worthy villains to fight. This is, if you're just a collector and you just want to...
I'm a bit gutted that they haven't shown the rest. I was really curious to see what the other models were, but...
This is the way to go. But it also is a complete adventure experience. It's going to be rad.
One of the things that's really nice about Warhammer Quest is it's a very different kind of gaming experience than playing a normal game of Warhammer. So, for the most part, if you play a game of Warhammer, you have two or more people, but you're very much in opposition. You're like, I brought my army, you brought your army. We're going to have a game. We're going to have loads of fun, but we're both trying to win against each other. Warhammer Quest is a little bit different because you're all on the same team. You all have a team of heroes. Same with Blackstone Fortress. You might have slightly alternate goals, but fundamentally, when the bad guys show up, you're all kind of in it together, back to the wall, battling the hordes and horror. And
What's your notice,
that's true
Bobby?
for this one
No,
as
it's
well.
just
So if you're looking
right,
for something for
interesting. So we'd
for a
have to
game
be on the
night
same
where you want
team.
to do
We
some
would.
multiplayer
We'd all be on the
gaming
same
or,
Oh. So I can
Warhammer
beat you.
Quest is brilliant.
You,
for
you
that.
could, in
And
theory.
this set is.
How about I
is,
just
as
kill
you
you
say,
all,
it's a
and then
beautiful
I
set.
win?
There's
You
so
could
much
try that,
content
in
to look
theory.
forward to that we're going to share with you guys over the next.
There is no try.
I wouldn't
few
recommend
weeks.
it, but
Why?
it's because
It's
then
exciting.
you'd be fighting all the bad guys
Even
by yourself.
vaguely
Well, if I
interested in,
allowed you
playing
to
cool games
help me
like
kill all the
Warhammer,
bad guys, then I kill you, and then I win.
Yes, that is
Yep.
potentially a thing you could do.
So, I guess where does that leave us? We find ourselves at the end of a preview where we've seen super cool things. I've tried to answer the questions that I've seen coming along in the chat, but frankly, it moves at 1,000 miles an hour. So, if you had a burning question on one of these things that hasn't been covered, now would be the time. Because otherwise, we're going to move into some serious wrap up. Everybody immediately wants to know the release dates. Well, the place you can find that, even if
So I'm
I do,
guessing
I'm
that's
not
the
going
end
to
of
say,
the
also,
the end of the previews.
a human memory bank when it comes to release dates of things. Anything you've
I was listening to that.
Oh, were you listening to that?
the place to keep up to date on when things are released is warhammercommunity.com. I would heartily recommend it if you like the Warhammer even a little bit, because every day there's cool new articles and content, and it is the place where we make reveals about release dates and pre-orders and things like that. There's all I can't answer all your questions like when will my particular faction come out. Otherwise, I'd just be picking out the Dark Angels and saying when will we get new Dark Angels and when will the next Dark Angels credits after that come out, and so on. And it will get mad and a little bit nepotist quite quickly. So I think what might be time to do is summarise what we've seen and wrap up. It's been a pretty awesome preview in terms of something.
You happy with that preview?
We got to see, frankly, a completely unheralded and extremely.
They still didn't
well-considered
explain
Power
where
and
the
Warfare,
vampire
which
with the red hair.
went down an absolute storm. We've
Yeah.
seen,
I'm guessing that's
expansion
just a model
for
coming out
Kill
separate
Team,
for
with
But
Age
I
Signal.
wanna know.
Orion Nexus, which is going to have heavy intercessors, the Gravis Captain, the Chronomancer,
I'm
and the
just.
Flayed Ones. Adeptus Titanicus fans, those guys who were looking forward to a bit of reinforcement for their Titan Legions, or something.
How about we end the recording?
How about you?
I hope you enjoyed that, everyone. Let us know if you enjoyed that kind of format, or would you rather stuck to the original one where we kind of look over the streamers that's already come out and then we talk about it, or if we carry on with these kind of random live viewings. I personally enjoyed that. I found that a lot of fun. Shenanigans, exactly. So, from myself and Tanya, thank you very much for watching, and we hope to hear from you all soon.